Mr. Clerk, you ready? I call to order the City Council meeting on this September 11th at 5:30 p.m. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilwoman Baskin.
Here.
Councilman Leon.
Here.
Councilwoman Powell.
Present.
Councilwoman Julian.
Here.
Councilman Stevens.
Here.
Vice Mayor Wilson.
Here.
Mayor Harris.
I'm present.
You have quorum.
Please stand for the invocation and pledge of allegiance.
God our Father, we thank you for your many blessings. We thank you for this great city that we call the city of Miami Gardens. Father, it's in this moment we pray that you give my colleagues and I your knowledge, your wisdom, and your understanding as we prepare to deliberate and discuss business that ultimately affect your people. Father, in this moment we pray for your conditional love, your many blessings to continue to be bestowed upon this great city, its residents, stakeholders, and everyone that called this city home. Father, we pray that you continue to bless us and all these things we ask in your Son's name. I do pray. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Clerk, you had that plan with the screen going up as we said the Pledge of Allegiance?
I was doing the pledge too.
All right, we're on approval of minutes.
Mr. Mayor and Council, I'm going to go ahead and withdraw the minutes. I'll have them for you at the next City Council
Sean
meeting.
withdrawing. We're on order of business. Are there any items that need to be pulled or added to the agenda?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to pull item 12.11.
12:11?
Yes.
And Mr. Clerk, I would like to move item 11.1 to the end of the agenda.
So we'll move 11.1 after. You want to move it after quasi-judicial?
Correct.
All right. I'll have it moved after quasi-judicial.
Are there any other items that need to be added or deleted or withdrawn? Showing none, I need a motion on the agenda.
Motion.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any oppositions? Showing no opposition. Show the agenda pass. We're on special presentations.
Special presentation, item 6.1, commendation presentation to Dr. KARINE Melissa Purchas.
Mayor and Council.
Yes.
Oh, sorry, Mayor, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Mayor and Council, I would like to ask you to join me up front, please. Hi, intern. How are you? Good to see you. So at this time, I would like to call up two of our Miami Gardens residents, Dr. KARINE Melissa and her mother, Quita Purchas. Please join us up here, please. Longtime residents of the city of Miami Gardens. I'm right here. This is your show. This is your day. Yes, yes, yes. So, ladies and gentlemen, this evening, I would like to recognize Dr. KARINE Melissa. Dr. KARINE Melissa has been a longtime resident of the city of Miami Gardens, she and her mother, and longtime supporters of ours. Dr. KARINE Melissa is actually the president of the Women's Chamber of Commerce. Yes, that's right, located right here in the city of Miami Gardens. That's right. And so tonight, I want to recognize her for her hard work and dedication in bringing women business owners and entrepreneurs together throughout the Tri-County area. Your work has not gone unnoticed. I mean, before I met you, I had been hearing about you. And to know that you spearheaded this amazing Chamber of Commerce, there's a lot to say about that. You know, when I think about the city center that we're getting ready to build, and our mayor held a career fair last month, which was standing room. I don't know if any of you participated, but it was standing room. People want to be in the city of Miami Gardens. They want to know what we have going on because this is, in fact, the place to be. Mr. Manager, how many people would you say attended the career fair? Over 500 people, right? You had marketing professionals, you had realtors, you had plumbers, you had landscapers, right? Everybody's coming here because they want to participate and be a part of what we have going on, right? This spurs economic development. This is job creation, what we're doing here, right? Miami Gardens continues to move forward. And when I think about that, I think about the Women's Chamber of Commerce and what you've done for women throughout this community, right? And I think that there's a lot to be said about that. And quite frankly, if you ask me, you know, we have the Warehouse District, we have Calder, we have the Dolphin Stadium, we have all of these businesses. And I think that we need a blueprint similar to yours, right? Because it's already done. And so I think, Mayor and Council, that this is something that we should look into. And I'd be happy to serve as the nexus for that, for us to emulate the blueprint that you've done to bring these businesses together as we continue to move Miami Gardens forward. And so, yes. And so with that being said, on behalf of the Mayor and Council, I'd like to present you with this commendation. As President of the Women's Chamber of Commerce of Miami-Dade County, Dr. KARINE Melissa was selected in 2023 and unanimously reelected in 2024. And she's led the Chamber to unprecedented growth in membership, sponsorships, event attendance, and community collaborations, impacting over 3,000 women in business. And this year, the Chamber celebrates its 40th anniversary in the 25th Thelma Gibson Awards Gala. Right? That's huge. With Dr. Purchas guiding a distinguished board of 35 women, including the executive board, the chairman's circle, and the presidential advisory board with exceptional leadership. I've seen you on Deco Drive. I've read about you in the newspaper, and you're just doing amazing things. It does my heart well to know that you are Miami Gardens homegrown, born here, raised here. And so today, the city of Miami Gardens acknowledges you. We appreciate and celebrate the significant impact that you've made through your work and your continued dedication to excellence and service in all of your endeavors. And so on behalf of our mayor, Mayor Rodney Harris, and our vice mayor, Katrina Wilson, Councilwoman Katrina Baskin, Councilman Reginald Leon, Councilwoman Michelle Powell, myself, Councilwoman Linda Julian, and Councilman Robert Stevens, we do hereby celebrate Dr. KARINE Melissa Purchas on this 11th day of September.
Thank you so much. It just feels good to, be acknowledged for the hard work. So thank you. That's all I have to say. I appreciate it so much.
Of course. Mom, would you like to say a few words? You said enough? All right, but we celebrate you today and thank you very much for what you've done for our business community and all our entrepreneur women in business.
All right. Mr. Clerk, we're on public comments.
Yes, sir.
Could you please read the back of the public comment card for me?
Citizen participation is governed by Section 2-60 of the City of Miami Gardens Code. Public comments are limited to matters within the scope of jurisdiction of the City Council. Each person other than members of the city staff who address the City Council shall give their name, address, and whether the person is speaking on his or her own.
Hold on, Mr. Clerk. Could we put our phones on vibrate, please? Somebody's computer. Go ahead, Mr. Clerk.
All right. Each person other than a member of the city staff who addresses the city council shall give their name, address, and whether the person is speaking on his or her own behalf, a group of persons, or a third party. When in the determination of the presiding officer, there are many persons wishing to speak on the same proposition, the presiding officer may direct that these persons designate a representative to address the city council rather than all members of such groups. All speakers shall be limited to 2 minutes unless further time is given by the presiding officer. All remarks shall be addressed to the city council as a body and not to any one member. No person other than the city council members and the person having the floor shall be permitted to enter any discussion without the permission of the presiding officer. No question shall be asked of a city council member except through the presiding officer. Order shall be maintained. If any person makes personally relevant, impertinent, or slanderous remarks, becomes boisterous while addressing the city council, or becomes too lengthy, abusive, obscene, and/or disruptive, or otherwise fails to comply with the orders of the presiding officer and is declared out of order, the individual may be subject to removal by the sergeant at arms.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Before we start public comments, I want to recognize our former council members, Councilwoman Lily Q. Odom, the Queen, Ms. Odom, and Councilwoman Lisa Davis. Is she back there? I thought I saw her somewhere right now. Welcome, guys. Senator here? Where he is? Oh.
You know, Mr. Mayor, that's the first council member for seat 6, so he must be acknowledged.
Our former senator and council member, Oscar Braden. I can't see with these glasses on. All right, so first up going to be Miss Gail Cunningham. And then Miss Higginbotham, you're next.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Gail Cunningham, 19001 Northwest 14th Avenue Road, Miami Gardens, Florida, 33169. I'm also an alumnus of the class of 2021 Miami Gardens Citizens Academy, Deputy City Manager, Professor Craig Clay, Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity. I would just like to say that we have a uniquely diverse city. In this city, we work very hard. We have high expectations of our city, and I wanted to say thank you to everyone, and I don't want to be like church and miss someone's name, to everyone in our city government, inclusive of legislative aides, assistants, secretaries, everyone, because we learned a lot in our class. We brought prior knowledge. We're constantly learning. Our charter members help us out so much because we're not going for the least. We're going for the most because we like and love our city. So when you see us with boots on the ground, our boots on the ground is exactly what we're doing. We're working. But we're working on behalf of every resident, every business owner, every stakeholder in our city. So our expectations of everyone that has been elected, publicly elected, public servants, representative of us, our city members, again, who are uniquely diverse, we have high expectations. Our eyes are always open and our ears are on the ground. But we're not asking anything of you that we don't do for ourselves or want to do for ourselves and jointly do in collaboration with those who are representing us. So I want to say again, thank you. A lot of things happened to me this week that I'm so grateful for, and it happens all the time. And I wanted to just say thank you. And remember, we are Miami Gardens. Thank you.
Absolutely. And Ms. Cunningham, Professor Craig Clay will start up the Citizens Academy again soon.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I just want to welcome everyone on the dais. Mr. Mayor, welcome back and congratulations.
Thank you.
And the new council people, I wish you well. I pray every day and hope that we all, including the others that came back, we will all have respect, honesty, openness for all of us. I'm a senior citizen, a proud senior citizen of the beautiful city of Miami Gardens. And I second what Gail has just said. And I thank you all very much.
Thank you. Ms. Hughes?
Good evening. Ree Hughes, 3335 Northwest 180th Street, Miami Gardens, Florida, 33056. As residents hear and read about city council accomplishments in the city, there are also residents within the city, such as Myrtle Grove community, working behind the scenes involved in projects to improve safety, cleanliness, and awareness. Last year, you were made aware of the roundabout and speed humps installed in the Myrtle Grove community, thanks to Mr. Ruiz Public Works in Miami-Dade County. In the latter part of 2023, white poles were installed at the Gardens Promenade entrance and exit on 183rd Street by Burlington Store to deter illegal left turns, but were destroyed. Poles were replaced this year, thanks to Raymond Sierra FDOT. Reference to stagnant progress of the traffic light on 27th Avenue and 180th Terrace by snappers. Residents have been conferring with FDOT since 2022. Today, residents were informed the permit was approved this date. We look forward to completion of this project thanks to Elizabeth Jett, FDOT. The North Miami Beach water storage tank that sits east of Myrtle Grove Park was filthy and an eyesore. The residents Miami Gardens Public Works with the city of North Miami Beach have been working in concert since 2022 to remedy this issue. On June 27, 2024, Myrtle Grove residents and others attended North Miami Beach City Commission meeting to speak to this item. On June 28, 2024, it passed unanimously for the city of North Miami Beach to provide funding for maintenance of their water storage tank, thanks to Andrea Suarez, director of North Miami Beach Water. Again, these are residents working behind the scenes because they care for the city and the community in which they reside. Also, I continue to say no to the third term. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Tisdall.
Good evening, council people. Raymond Tisdall, 17031 Northwest 11th Avenue. I want to thank Melissa Nunez, Pat Wright, and Bernard Buster for helping me try to get this four-way stop sign to help me get across the street to the bus stop. It's been approved, but it ain't been in place yet. But it's coming. I appreciate that. The second item on my agenda is I'm still having problems at 16930 Northwest 4th Avenue with the Hispanic music every weekend. We talked about it before. I talked to Major Hughes. They addressed it. They've been coming back since July the 28th every weekend. I want to sleep on the weekend. I pay my taxes. I'm not behind. Why is it continuing? Nobody, like I keep telling you, everybody must play in this monopoly, get out of jail card, because they continue to come back. They're not getting citations. They're not going to jail. They're not getting fined. So if you don't do that, they're going to come back. I can't go to Hialeah and play music late at night, but they can come to Miami Garden. So I want to know why we not stopping this. Why is it's continuing since July the 28th? Every weekend they come back. I spoke to Major Hughes again. He passed it down to the captain. The captain passed it down to the commander. The commander passed it down to the sergeant. The sergeant passed it down to the officer. But again, Nothing is being done. And the question for me tonight, who gonna talk to me and tell me why? Why? That's the question. When it gonna stop? Because I like to sleep on the weekend, sir.
We'll have someone speak with you today.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. That's a new bill. Are there any more public comments? Mr. Clerk, do you have any written communication?
No written communications, Mayor.
All right, and public comments now are closed on these items.
All right, there are no ordinances on for first reading, no ordinances on for second reading, public hearing. We're now on to the consent agenda, item 12.1.
I think we missed reports by
Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's right. Reports.
Mr. Manager.
No, it's the mayor and council
Oh,
reports.
just us. Mr. Stevens?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Let me first start off by officially welcoming my two new colleagues, Councilwoman Dr. Michelle Powell and
Thank you.
Councilwoman Katrina Baskin. I look forward to serving with you all as we continue to move the city forward. So, welcome.
Thank you.
And to my colleagues, let me say it feels good to be back in the chamber, although I don't think 1 month was enough. Today, September 11th, I had the honor of hosting my annual We Will Not Forget 9/11 Memorial Celebration, where we came together to honor our first responders, commemorate the lives lost, and the resilience of our nation. We gathered to remember the tragic event on 9/11, which unfolded 23 years ago, and the impact that that day had in our nation's history. So I urge everyone to continue to express your love and your appreciation to our first responders, to our heroes that work diligently to ensure that our communities are safe and they're serving and always on the front line. On Saturday, September 21st, I'll be hosting my quarterly Walk for Health to promote Sickle Cell Awareness Month at the Betty T. Ferguson Complex. We have extended the event to include a 5K run and spin bike class with community partners such as the Running Edge 305, Black Mastermind United, Sin Cycle, and the Advancing Sickle Cell Advocacy Project. So I encourage you all to come out and be a part of this quarterly Walk for Health. And then last but certainly not least, on October 1st, we'll return for my monthly Table Talk Tuesdays at 6:30 p.m. at our local Starbucks for a conversation over a cup of coffee to discuss ways that we can make our city and our community better and the place you want to be. I do want to, I know the mayor has already acknowledged our former council members that's present. Thank you for your continued support. That ends my report, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Councilwoman Powell?
I'd just like to take this time to thank all the residents who really showed love and support for me and allowing me this opportunity to serve. And you will not regret it. And I also want to forearm and forewarn, we are walking with the doc and talking with the doc every second Wednesday, starting at the library. So get ready. Walk and talk.
Do we have to come, Doc? We'll be there. Councilman Leon?
Good evening, everyone. As my colleague, Councilman Stevens said, I want to welcome our new colleagues to the dais. Also, Councilman, excellent job. I think that was the shortest report you ever had. So, wonderful job on that. Also, I want to welcome our former council people here. Welcome home. Thank you. And I want to give a special thanks to Bernard and Public Works. We met, I want to say about 2 weeks ago, as we are processing these new speed bumps that we're putting throughout the community. We had some hiccups where we had some residents that didn't quite understand the speed bump process and didn't want them in front of their house, but they still had issues with the speeding. So we were able to knock on some doors talk to some of those residents and get them to understand. And so now we can almost finish the speed bump project on 207th Street. So thank you again, Bernard, for coming out there. You and Guillermo being able to walk and talk to those residents and get them to understand that. I also want to thank the Vice Mayor for leading the efforts. We had one of our residents that passed away, and sometimes we all don't see eye to eye. But Ms. Reeves, and I'll ask for a moment of silence, Ms. Mary Reeves did pass away, and she was one of the people that kept us on our toes. We had conversations in and outside of City Hall, and the Vice Mayor is leading a charge on seeing what the city can do to help lay her to rest. So if it's okay with you, Mr. Mayor, can we have a moment of silence for Ms. Reeves? Thank you, and that ends my report.
I think we also should have a moment of silence for Dr. Holmes, who passed away as well. She was a very important member of this community, especially in the Crestview community. So we want to take a time out to at least remember her as well. So we'll take a moment of silence for her. Thank you. Councilwoman Julian.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening. It is good to be back. I hope you all had a wonderful summer break. My office will be doing neighborhood pop-ups in an effort to bring information and resources to your area, so be on the lookout. The first one is taking place on September 24th, and as we continue to plan, we will keep you posted. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to Nicole, my legislative analyst, or Clint John, my chief legislative intern, for more information. Our Hispanic Heritage Month essay contest deadline is September the 30th. It's open to students who reside in the city of Miami Gardens and or students who attend schools in the city of Miami Gardens. You can also see Nicole or Clint for a flyer with the details. I would like to welcome our two newest elected council members, Councilwoman Katrina Baskin and Councilwoman Dr. Michelle Powell, to the council. I'm super excited to work with the both of you and can't wait to collaborate on some initiatives. And together, I know that all seven of us will move Miami Gardens forward. So welcome to the dais.
Thank you.
And our newest council member, Michelle Powell, is celebrating a birthday on Friday. So please help me. Join me in wishing Councilwoman Michelle Powell a very happy birthday. Happy birthday to you, Councilwoman.
Thank you.
And that ends my report, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilwoman Baskin.
Thank you. First and foremost, I want to thank the wonderful residents of Miami Gardens for your selection for residential seat 1 of myself. I don't take this appointment lightly. I am here to do the work tirelessly. A special thank you also to Ms. Gail Cunningham and Ms. Hickenbottom for your prayers and acknowledging all of us that labor in love for the city of Miami Gardens, because we do indeed love our city. So thank you. To our amazing city manager and staff, city attorney's office and staff, city clerk's office and staff, thank you for helping this make this transition for me smooth. I appreciate your answering my questions, answering my calls, making sure I understood that 400 and something page budget. For those of you all that don't know, I had my first budget meeting yesterday, and they were very diligent in preparing me and the others for that meeting. So thank you very much. Also to the city clerk's office, Mr. Mario and his team, in making sure that we were accommodated and comfortable in the office. Thank you very much. I don't ask for much, but the little that I did ask for, they were very sure to get those things to me as well. To my new family, Mr. Mayor, Ms. Vice Mayor, fellow council members, thank you for welcoming myself and Dr. Powell to the team. I look forward to working with you as well, collaborating on initiatives and projects, and as Councilwoman Julia mentioned, moving Miami Gardens forward. I think they were just making sure that I was prepared because they want me to hurry up and get to work. So I'm okay with that. With that being said, I want to invite you all to my first community collab, which will be held on Tuesday, October 8th at 6 p.m. at Buccaneer Park, 6 p.m. till 7:30 p.m. My meetings will be held every second Tuesday of the month. And on October 24th, I will be having a breast cancer event at 6 p.m. honoring some of the breast cancer survivors from Miami Gardens. That will be held at Betty T at 6 p.m. October 24th. I want to thank the former council members for showing up today. It's so good to see you, with a special thank you to former Councilwoman Lily Q. Odom. That concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Vice Mayor?
Yes. It is also my pleasure to be back and to thank God for allowing me to be able to answer the call when my name is called. I have come to understand how important every single day is. And I think that I've decided for myself that I'm going to spend my days with a lot more valuable things to do, like to smile and to love and to live and to laugh. And so today is a beautiful day, especially with the red and the white. These gentlemen look absolutely beautiful. I had a recap here, and I want to go through it, and then I want to just talk a couple of minutes. The Leslie Estates residents meeting that we had on Saturday was an important meeting for us because the Leslie Estates project is an important project in residential seat 4 because we wanted to really work with them to get their roads fixed. And if you've ever been in that community, you would understand how imperative that is. And those residents have really worked extremely hard to gather, to organize, and to get themselves ready and prepared for those roads to be done. And we have made significant progress. We had a setback when we had to go back to the state of Florida and have some additional documents signed by those residents. But we are moving along rapidly, and they are cooperating. And I'm hoping that pretty soon we will have all of the signatures that we need, that the state requires, so that the road that this city has set aside, the monies that they have set aside to repair those roads for those residents, will be able to get taken care of. So I would ask your prayers and keep our fingers crossed as we continue to push for the lighting, the drainage, and reestablishing the HOA for the purpose of getting the signatures for those residents who are very much so in need of the road repair. We had our Meet Me Monday this week, and Supervisor Michael Johnson from the Miami-Dade County Elections Department came and spoke to our residents about the road to voting in November. And he said a very important thing that I wanted to share with you, and as a result, explain to you what we're going to do. There were some residents who were there that were senior citizens, and they were talking about the ways that you can make sure that you are able to, that your voting information is up to date. And one of the gentlemen indicated that he's not able to go online to check his signature. He also indicated that he was disabled and was not able to go to a location to actually talk to a supervisor. So he really didn't have many options to update his information. And so what the Department of Elections agreed to do is to go to our senior center on Tuesday and Thursday and to update any files that any senior citizen needed to have updated on site. That way, if they did their absentee ballot at home and their signature didn't match, they will be able to correct that on the site. They will take a brand new signature for them, because over time, as the gentleman says, your signature changes. And when it changes, it won't match your absentee ballot. So if you have someone in your home or you are a senior and you want to make sure that your signature matches so that your ballot can in fact count for your vote, please make sure that on those days, check at the senior center and make sure that you are there, you can have someone to bring you there so that you can check your voting information. Because as we are learning that this may be one of our most consequential elections of this century. And we want to make sure that all of us, whether you are a senior or you are not, understand the dates that voting takes place, understands where your voting locations are, the times that they will be available, and when you go on the actual national voting day, where your precincts are located. We have a lot of new residents in our city, and they don't know as much information as we might think that they do. Okay, so voting for this season is one of the most extremely and most important events that we have happening toward the end of the year. And then finally, I would like to say thank you to those residents who are doing more than complain. I really appreciate it when you get out and you get involved. That not only are you working with us, but you are also making a difference and understanding the power that exists in your own hands. So making the calls about the water tank, because we did, going to North Miami, that's important. North Miami Beach, I'm sorry, that's really important. And to move yourselves in a way that you become active citizens, there is power in numbers. And it shows that as we are advocating for our residents, that our residents are with us and we're with them. And so thank you very much, Mrs. Hughes, and those of you that are working in the background for those things that are important to the entire city and the entire community. Because when we work together, we are in fact one. That concludes my announcement.
Thank you. I won't take a lot of time. I just want to say to our newest members, congratulations and welcome. We look forward to working with you guys, making sure that we continue to move this city forward. I've been on this dais now for 12 years, and I've been here because of the residents of this community. I'm a true servant leader, and I wanted to take this opportunity to say thank you for electing me as or re-electing me as your mayor once again. The next 4 years, we will definitely work hard. We're going to do some things that will make Miami Gardens continue to be the most beautiful place in the world and one of the fastest growing cities in Miami-Dade, if not the United States. People outside of this community see us and they envy us. They envy the work that we've done together, from this dais to the residents being actively participating in the process of making Miami Gardens great. And we will continue to do just that. So we want just to say thank you for allowing us to be a part of your lives and allowing us to serve this community. Thank you, guys, and may God bless Miami Gardens and continue to bless all of the residents, the business owners, and everyone who has anything to do with making Miami Gardens great. All right, Mr. Clerk.
There are no ordinances on for first reading, no ordinances on for second reading, public hearing. Item 12, consent agenda. Item 12.1, a resolution of the City Council, City of Miami Gardens, Florida, allocating funds from Councilwoman Linda Julian's community benefit account in an amount not to exceed $1,200, no pro tuck, for the 16th annual Back to School and Health Fair Backpack Back to School giveaway and Back to School community event and career fair, provided for adoption representation, provided for an effective date. This is sponsored by Councilwoman Linda Julian. Item 12.2, a resolution of the City Council, City of Miami Gardens, Florida, allocating funds for Councilwoman Linda Julian's public affairs account in an amount not to exceed $300, non pro ton, to support Representative Felicia Robinson's The Teachers Lounge with the Resource Room, Inc., provided for adoption representation, provided for an effective date, and this is sponsored by Councilwoman Linda Julian. Item 12.3, a resolution of the City Council, City of Miami Gardens, Florida, allocating funds from Councilwoman Linda Julian's public affairs account in an amount not to exceed $209.94, non pro ton, for Elizabeth Financial Literacy Project, Financial Literacy Graduation Luncheon, provided for adoption representation, provided for an effective date. and this is sponsored by Councilwoman Linda Julian. Item 12.4, a resolution of the City Council, City of Miami Gardens, Florida, allocating funds for Councilwoman Linda Julian's community benefit account in an amount not to exceed $700 for the Hispanic Heritage Essay Contest, provided for adoption representation, provided for an effective date. And this is sponsored by Councilwoman Linda Julian. Item 12.5, a resolution of the City Council, City of Miami Gardens, Florida, allocating funds for Councilwoman Linda Julian's public affairs account in an amount not to exceed $265.05. No pro tem for sponsorship for the Impact for Miami, Inc., provided for adoption representation, provided for an effective date, and this is sponsored by Councilwoman Linda Julian. Item 12.6, a resolution of the City Council, City of Miami Gardens, Florida, authorizing the use of the City Council chambers and community rooms subject to availability for the Norland Middle School Student Government Association inauguration ceremony, provided for adoption representation, provided for an effective date, and this is sponsored by Councilwoman Linda Julian. Item 12.7, a resolution of the City Council, City of Miami Gardens, Florida, allocating funds from Councilman Stevens' community benefit account in an amount not to exceed $500 in support of the Riverview Watch's Neighborhood Crime Watch 12th anniversary celebration, provided for instructions to the city clerk, provided for adoption representation, provided for an effective date. This is sponsored by Councilman Robert Stevens III. Item 12.8, a resolution of the City Council, City of Miami Gardens, Florida, allocating funds from Councilman Stevens' community benefit account in an amount not to exceed $10,000 non pro ton in support of his Orange Blossom Classic weekend reception, provided for instructions to the city clerk, provided for adoption representation, provided for an effective date. This is sponsored by Councilman Robert Stevens III. Item 12.9, a resolution of the City Council, City of Miami Gardens, Florida, allocating funds for Councilman Stevens' community benefit account in an amount not to exceed $1,500 in support of Beyond Sir Annual Beauty for Ashes Conference, providing for the adoption representation, providing for an effective date, and this is sponsored by Councilman Robert Stevens III. Item 12.10, a resolution of the City Council, City of Miami Gardens, Florida, authorizing the city manager to issue purchase orders in an amount not to exceed $57,838.41 annually for 3 years to Dell Financial Services, LLC, for the lease of 100 laptops, computers, waiving the procurement code pursuant to Section 2-757 of the City of Miami Gardens Code of Ordinance, provided for adoption representation, provided for an effective date. This is sponsored by the city manager. Item 12.12, a resolution of the City Council, City of Miami Gardens, Florida, awarding request for proposal, RFP and paren, number 23-24-032 to Scott Park Improvement to Pajar and Construction, Inc., authorizing the city manager to negotiate and execute an agreement for this purpose, provided for adoption representation, provided for an effective date. This is sponsored by the city manager. Item 12.3, a resolution of the City Council, City of Miami Gardens, Florida, awarding request for qualifications, RFQ and paren, number 23-24-017, establishing a qualified vendors list for the continuing architectural service, the engineering services for professional service between the amounts of $10,000 to $500,000, provided for adoption representation, provided for an effective date, and this is sponsored by the city manager. Item 12.4, resolution of the City Council, City of Miami Gardens, Florida, renewing agreements with Metro Express, Inc. as primary vendor and ATC Engineering, Inc. and National Concrete and Paving, LLC as secondary vendor for citywide drainage improvements, provided for adoption representation, provided for an effective date, and this is sponsored by the city manager. Item 12.15, a resolution of the City Council, City of Miami Gardens, Florida, awarding request for a proposal, RFP and paren, number 23-24-016, emergency debris removal and disposal services to firms, Corrado Gulf Joint Ventures, Inc., DRC Emergency Services, LLC, Series Environmental Services, Inc., Phillips and Jordan Incorporated, Looks Great Services of MS, Inc., TFR Enterprise, Inc., and Aftermath Disaster Recovery, Inc., authorize the city manager to issue purchase orders as needed, not to exceed the allocated budget amount, providing for adoption representation, providing for an effective date, and this is sponsored by the city manager. Item 12.16, a resolution of the City Council, City of Miami Gardens, Florida, authorize the city manager to issue purchase orders to Safeware, Inc. to obtain a new network security appliance for an amount not to exceed $79,545.46 per year for 3 years for a total amount of $238,636.37, authorizing a waiver of competitive bidding pursuant to Section 2-757 of the Procurement Code for the adoption representation, provided for an effective date, and this is sponsored by the city manager. Item 12.17, a resolution of the City Council, City of Miami Gardens, Florida, accepting the U.S. Department of Energy Efficiency and Conservation Block Grant in the amount of $155,250 for the procurement of the electric vehicles charging stations and electric vehicles with any remaining funds. A copy of the EEC BG rebate voucher approval notification is attached as Exhibit A. Authorize the city manager to execute any and all agreements and contract documents required for implementation of the grant, provided for adoption representation, provided for an effective date, and this is sponsored by the city manager. Item 12.18, a resolution of the City Council, City of Miami Gardens, Florida, awarding request for proposal, RFP number 23-24-009 Enterprise Resource Planning, ERP, and software and implementation services to Title Technologies, Inc. Authorize the city manager to negotiate and execute a contract with Title Technology, Inc. And should negotiation fail, negotiate a contract with the second-ranked firm, Springbrook Holding Company, LLC, providing for adoption representation, providing for an effective date, and this is sponsored by the city manager. Item 12.19, a resolution of the City Council, City of Miami Gardens, Florida, ratifying the election results of the general election held on August 20, 2024, for the purpose of electing a mayor, council members for residential area seat 1 and 3, and at-large seat 5, declaring the results of said elections, providing for adoption representation, providing for an effective date. This is sponsored by the city clerk, and that is your consent agenda.
I need a motion on the consent agenda.
Motion.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Showing none, show the consent agenda passes.
All right, we're now on to item 12.11, a resolution of the City Council, City of Miami Gardens, Florida, authorizing the city to accept the certain grant from the International City County Management Association, ICMA, and the Gates Economic Mobility Project in an amount of $24,000. Authorize the city manager to execute a grant agreement and any and all documents associated with this award, provided for adoption representation, provided for an effective date. And this is sponsored by the city manager. This was pulled by Councilwoman Linda Julian.
Councilwoman Julian.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to take this moment and for the record to reflect, I'd like to congratulate our city manager and his staff for receiving this economic mobility grant through the City County Management Association, and this is through the Bill Gates Foundation. These funds will help tackle local economic mobility and opportunity issues within this community. Economic mobility is the ability of individuals and generations to move up within the economic ladder. This is momentous because the city of Miami Gardens was the only city in the state of Florida to receive this recognition in this grant. That is huge. That's right. So, Mr. Manager, thank you to you and your staff for working so hard. Miami Gardens continues to serve as a model city. People are looking at us, they're watching us, and they're wanting to emulate what we're doing. Your hard work does not go unnoticed. And so, when folks think that we're not working, we are working. There's so much work to be done, but this is proof in the pudding. The one city, the largest black city in the state of Florida, to be the only one out of hundreds of applicants to receive this recognition and this grant is phenomenal, and I commend you. We continue to set the bar high, and let's continue to move Miami Gardens forward together. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor.
Congratulations, Mr. Manager.
Thank
Go
you.
ahead.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
May I recognize George Wright and Dr. James Pogue, who were the two folks from staff that worked on this project, if they would stand?
Where are they, guys? Where are those guys? Great job, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
I move the item.
I second it. Item been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Showing none, show the item passes.
All right, there are no resolutions. We're now on to quasi-judicial zoning hearings and gender disclosures.
Good evening and welcome to the quasi-judicial portion of the September 11, 2024 City Council meeting. For those persons that will or may be speaking on an item on the agenda or commenting on any item, please stand up and be sworn in by the city clerk. For the applicants, your item would be called to order by agenda number and the title of your request. When your item is called, please approach the microphone. When addressed, please speak directly and clearly, stating your name and address for the record, and explain the reason for your request, and note that all exhibits presented to the mayor and council become part of the public record. I do.
Mr. Manager?
No. Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
This is second reading. There are no changes from first reading. Staff recommends approval. Thank you.
Public comments on this item? Are there any public comments on this item? Mr. Clerk, did you receive any written communication?
No, I haven't received any written communication, but for the record, Mr. Mayor, can I go ahead and read the title of the ordinance?
You can.
All right, ordinance is on for second reading of public hearing, 14.2.1. In order to the City Council of the City of Miami Gardens, Florida, amending the City of Miami Gardens zoning map by expanding the Planned Corridor Development, PCD, Inc., zoning district at the intersection of Northwest 7th Avenue and Northwest 183rd Street, as illustrated in Exhibit B, providing for adoption of representation, repealing all ordinances in conflict, providing severability clause, providing for inclusion in the code, providing for an effective date, and this is sponsored by the city manager. Showing no public comments on this item, the public comments are now closed. I need a motion on the item.
Motion.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. It's open for discussion. Provided Diaz. Any discussion? Showing none, Mr. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilwoman Powell.
Got to vote on
Yes. Why are you picking on me? Yes.
Vice Mayor Wilson.
Yes.
Councilwoman Julian.
Yes.
Councilman Stevens.
Yes.
Councilwoman Baskin.
Yes.
Councilman Leon.
Yes.
Mayor Harris.
I vote yes.
Motion passes 7-0. Now we're on to resolutions, public hearing. Item 11.1, a resolution of the City Council, City of Miami Gardens, Florida, authorizes the renaming of Northwest 32nd Avenue between 191st Street and 2 Northwest 199th Street as KAPPA Alpha Psi Way. Authorizes the city manager to change the street signage, providing for adoption representation, providing for an effective date. This is sponsored by Councilman Reggie Leon.
You want to do public comments first? Or you want to...
Yeah, you could go ahead and go first.
Okay. Good evening again, everyone. I must say, 1911 was a good year. I'll start off with that. So the person that's sponsoring this item, also from 1911, came up with the idea that we know in the state of Florida, there has been a target on African American on our backs and on our history. And we have the opportunity here in Miami Gardens to actually rebrand and build our own history. And that's what you see us doing today. Right now, I started, and thank you to this council and the previous council before our 2 new members, I started an initiative where we were dedicating streets to the Divine Nine. We know how powerful the Divine Nine is throughout the country. Without your help and your mentoring program and your philanthropy that you pour back into every community, we would not be the City of Miami Gardens. It takes a village. So we are on our 5th organization right now. And I know that 32nd Avenue is very dear to the members of Kappa Alpha Psi Phi. The late Dr. Lester Brown Park is on that street. And it's only fitting that we rename 32nd Avenue from 191st to 199th as in dedication of your organization. So I hope I have my colleagues' support, and I want to thank you, and I'll turn it over to, and I'm going to move the item.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. There's public comments on this item. We have public comment card. Oliver Spicer Jr.
Greetings, City Council. On behalf of, my name is Oliver Spicer Jr., address 11704 Northwest 22nd Court, which is our fraternity house. So I bring you greetings as the president of the Miami Alumni Chapter of Kappa Alpha Psi. I stand before you honored in support of this resolution, which is sponsored by Councilman Reggie Leon. I've gotten to know just about every member of this council through our work as a member of Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity, from hosting a small business administration workshop, which was sponsored by Councilman Stevens. I've gotten to know just about each and every one of you through my work as a advisory board member of Jesus People Ministry, where most of you have attended and worshiped. So I just stand before you honored and pleased in support of this resolution. Thank you.
Thank you. Professor, Dr., Teacher Craig Clay.
You know, I was trying to figure out what Clay was doing, but it makes sense now.
I was wondering, I asked him, I said, well, where's your red jacket?
You know, Vice Mayor, we look good in anything.
Okay, that's right. I have to
agree. I have to agree. Even purple when we. But in all seriousness, Councilman Leon, we want to thank you for bringing this item. We appreciate the respect and honor that you've shown to all the members of the Divine Nine. It gives me great pleasure to stand here with these men behind me who all believe in one thing, and that's achievement in every field of human endeavor. Whether it be the names that you know, Arthur Ashe, Johnny Cochran, it's the names that you don't know that are most important. These men that I stand with today are lawyers, teachers who are teaching this young man, make sure we get his shirt on our video. That's what's important. So, Councilman, we just want to thank you again on behalf of the 160,000 plus members across this nation, across this world, 721 chapters. Thank you for honoring the members of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Dr. Teacher.
Mr. Mayor. And real quick, these items are also being co-sponsored by the chairman, Oliver Gilbert, who just walked in on the county side. So let's make sure we thank him. So every item that I sponsor for every organization, the chairman is sponsoring on the county side. So, Mr. Chairman, we want to thank you for that.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. You got legs. Don't do it.
It's just a little early for walk with the doc.
Oscar Brain in a second.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Commission. Oscar Brainen, Senator Oscar Brainen. It's always Senator. No, I'm just sorry.
My mistake, Senator.
1901 Northwest 14th Avenue Road, here in Miami Gardens. Never left, always here. This is my home. And I want to thank the council for doing this. When I was on the council, every meeting, Dr. Brown was always in the meeting. Every meeting, he got up and spoke. Every meeting, at the end of the meeting, he would get up and give us a word of encouragement to keep us going. Because in those early days, it was hard. We weren't on YouTube. We were not on TV. We weren't even on AM radio. So nobody knew about what we were doing here in the city of Miami Gardens. But Dr. Brown came every single day. And so I'm honored as a member of the great organization that he was a part of to be up here and to name and to be able to be a part of you all naming a street in front of the park in the city that he helped found. I wish I would have been thought to do this or had the ability to do this. So I want to thank Reggie for thinking outside the box. And, you know, the cross-section with the Divine Nine and politics is always ever present. We saw it last night as a member of the Divine Nine took somebody down. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, this item been moved and seconded. All in favor of this item, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any? It's passed. Any opposition? Showing none, show the item pass.
Congratulations. And I also want to take a second to honor Dr. Brown's grandson that's here. Will you please stand?
All right, Mr. Mayor and Council, we're now on to the reports of the city manager, city attorney, city clerk.
Mr. Manager?
Mr. Mayor, just a couple of things. One, I would like to welcome Councilwoman Baskin and Councilwoman Powell to the dais. I look forward to working with each of you over the next several years. I also want to let Councilwoman Powell know that I know this Friday is your birthday, but I also want you to know that this Friday is my baby girl's birthday as well. So I'd like to wish my baby girl a happy birthday this coming Friday, September 13th. And yeah.
Good numbers.
And I have made some organizational changes that I will be notifying the council about later this week. And I'm looking forward to those changes and moving the city in a positive direction. With that, and congratulations to the KAPPAs and congratulations to Deputy City Manager Craig Clay. Thank you.
Madam Attorney?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, certainly congratulations to the KAPPAs, and we have to deal with Craig just one more day this week with his big head, but it's all good. Welcome to the newest members of the dais. I look forward to working with you. I already see that we're going to do some great things with you guys aboard. You have a good position, and I think you were made for this, so congratulations to you. That's it, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Clerk?
Congratulations to the Kappas, Councilwoman Powell, Councilwoman Baskins. Congratulations to you guys. Look forward to working with you, along with the rest of the mayor and city council. Welcome back. We move on forward.
Absolutely. Mr. Chair, would you like to say a few words?
Brain didn't cooperate. And Senator Brannon texted me, Oliver Gilbert, 17988 Northwest 27th Avenue.
This Senator Brannon?
Yeah, Senator Brannon, better known as Omega Psi Phi Fraternity's Commissioner's Office. But when Oscar texted me, and he told me that we were doing the street naming today. He told me two things. He said that they're doing the street naming today, and it's the first meeting for the 2 new council members. I said, okay, well, God didn't mean for me to walk the trail today. I'll stop by. And so it's interesting because, Oscar, you brought up Dr. Brown, and a lot of people don't remember how important he was. Not just the fact that he educated so many of the educators here in Miami-Dade County, but when this city wasn't actually very popular, before the YouTube, before the Instagram, before people were like, we're going to survive, it was Dr. Brown who told everybody literally to shut up. It was the respect that he commanded in so many ways. So we have our founders. I see former Councilwoman Odom here, and we have the picture of Mayor Gibson here. But you can never forget who he was. Like there are 3 pictures in my office, a picture of me and my son, a picture of me and my parents, and a picture of me and Dr. Brown. It was important that I actually named the park after him before I left, because no one in this city should ever forget who he was. His legacy lives as long as this city lives. And so I appreciate the fact that he was a member of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. I appreciate the members like Dewey Knight and Dewey Knight's father and Oscar Brannon. And listen, I'm a member of the Divine Nine. I'm a member of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity. I believe that to be the greatest fraternity in the history of the world. However,
shameless.
Let the church say amen.
Shameless plug.
However, I'd be blind, deaf, and dumb not to recognize what they do in this community. I'd be blind, deaf, and dumb not to recognize the young men that they mentor. They help send to school. Hey, I'd be blind, deaf, and dumb not to realize their indelible contributions to who we've become as Miami Gardens, but more importantly, who we become as a country. So that exists, and it's important. And again, congratulations. I'm happy to always partner with Councilman Leon on actually naming these streets. And it's special that I'm here today because I see so many of my friends here. And so thank you all for the service you do. This is just a street naming. This just happens right now. They'll put up signs, but this actually got named when you did all of that work. When you did all of that work. That work is what we're celebrating here tonight. And I think that's important. The other reason I want to stop by is because there are 2 new council members here. Listen, God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth. He wants you to listen more than you speak. He wants you to understand that you're smart. And what Shirley told me when I was appointed, she said, you're smart, but others are wise. You can learn. That service is not like anything you've ever done before. It's more macro and more micro. It's big and it's really small. It's the big things like the events that you'll do, but it's also counseling somebody when they've lost a family member. That how we built this city wasn't on either or, it was on both. That's my expectation of your service. To take it personally. Somebody said to me one time that I took Miami Gardens personally. I absolutely do. I don't ever want you to confuse it. I take the city personally. You said about the city, you said it about me. My mom and my daddy lived here. My son lives here. My family lives here. We live here. When they talk about Miami Gardens, they're talking about y'all. You can't say nothing about this city. Take it personally. Take it personally and treat it like you treat a child. Build it, help it grow, make it strong. We've given you the ability to speak for 100 and almost 20,000 people. We trust you with it. Use it well. Thank you all very much. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Is there any more business for this evening?
No, Mr. Mayor.
Showing none, I need a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Show this meeting adjourned.
You can join me down here for a picture, members.
Yeah.
They're not going to do one up here?
They're going to come.
Yeah.
Let's get a group picture with everybody.
Are we going to stand here?
The clouds form, the rain pours, and water is all around. You'll ask yourself, how prepared or unprepared are you?